can sense them.
Wanna come work for me? Must be tough out here on your own.
I can't help you with that. I make deliveries. That's all.
A silent, faulty feeling. A silent fault. A silent, faulty feeling. A silent fault. I sigh and fall to the ceiling. I sigh and run to the kneeling. A silence for the feeling. Ran out of all the meaning. I ran out of. It's hard to fall believing. It's hard to fall. So many men are losing while out there doing the proving. It's no surprise he's doing.
Headed into town. Watch yourself. Those things never stay gone for long. The time flow fast forwards whatever it touches. But it can't wash everything away. The past just won't let go. I'll see you around. Sam Porter Bridges.
Sam, what's your status? Chiralium density is still increasing.
My status is fucked. There's tons of them.
Can you sit out the rain?
No, they're closing in on my position. I have to move before they realize I'm in here.
Sam, if one of those things eats you,
surrounding area will still be a crater.
I got an idea.
A cryptobite a day keeps the time fall away.
You're too late. You still don't know who I am, do you?
Who are you?
Is secure, but I can't reach them over radio. Their comms must be down. What's your status?
Already here.
Yuri? I thought you said it was secure.
It was. Let's go. Maybe it's not as bad as it looks.
You okay?
Yeah.
Welcome to the party! Just in time for the fireworks! Looks like we made parole, boys! I'm out!
Electro? Why is he letting everyone out?
I'll head for the main control center and see how bad the situation is.
Got it. I'll go join the party. Everyone just quietly go back into your cells and lock the door behind you. Okay? Please? Like fish in a barrel.
Catastrophic event detected.
That doesn't sound good. Oh, hi, Rhino.
Hope you like surprise, Spider!
Surprise? What is he talking about?
Hey, what's your status?
Me? Just trapped in a prison with every criminal I've put away in the last 8 years. No biggie.
Electro must be working for someone.
This is too good to be true.
Scorpion, can you hold on a minute? I was in the middle of a phone call and it was business.
Charge him! Don't let up!
Lost you for a second there. You okay?
Not really. Electro, Rhino, and now Scorpion are all on the loose. What's going on in the rest of the prison?
Camera system's almost up. I'll give you a sit rep soon.
Okay, I'll keep tracking Electro.
Come on, Spider-Man! I thought this was a chase!
Gotta stop this guy. If you tell me who you're working for, I'll go easy on you.
Can't stop it! But I'm flattered that you still try!
Nobody ever takes me up on that offer.
Gotcha!
Vulture! What?
Long time no see! We're going to have so much fun!
Sorry, no time to talk.
Okay, I got the security cameras back online.
How's it look?
Well, it looks like the entire population of the raft has escaped. That makes 5 of your worst enemies that are now on the loose.
For a second there, I thought you were serious.
I am serious. I have to go. Some of them are heading into the city.
This is nuts.
Keep chasing! Party's almost over!
Electro, stop!
How do you like my new suit?
Dashing. Where'd you get it?
It's an exclusive club. Remember, he said not to kill him.
Good idea. In fact, we don't have to do this at all if you don't want to.
We definitely want to.
should be terrified of you.
You do not hesitate.
That was the PlayStation E3 showcase. A lot to take in. There was a ton of great Worldwide Studios titles. We actually got a little more to share here coming right up. We're going to have first live gameplay of Marvel's Spider-Man right here, just a couple of minutes. We have a new game to announce. We have some other stuff to talk about too. What a show.
Oh my gosh.
Pop highlights, go.
Oh,
There's no time.
Oh my goodness, Ghost of Tsushima looked absolutely incredible. That color palette was insane.
Yeah.
Did you grow up with samurai movies?
Absolutely.
Yeah? Yeah.
Ready.
It's just the embodiment.
I'm ready.
of the
Sucker punch.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Meredith.
Oh, Resident Evil 2. Come on,
Yeah.
RE2. That looked so good. I know a lot of us fans have been waiting for that one. And there was like a moment where you're like, I'm not really sure I know what this is. And then as soon as he turned his head, I was like, yes.
And you get that, that
so good.
RE4 style over-the-shoulder camera action. It's kind of like the ultimate dream if they were going to remake Resident Evil 2. That's what I would want. So awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Ryan?
Nice and gory.
Yeah.
As Meredith said backstage, Death Stranding, we now have more questions.
Yes,
more questions.
More questions.
It looks as if, I mean, I don't want to make any promises, but it looks as if we were getting kind of an allusion to a lot of gameplay in there and kind of what the character of Sam is going to be doing in this very unusual world that is inhabited by some very unusual and scary things.
And people consume strange and unusual.
Bugs.
That was...
Babies continue to be a theme.
Yeah, that wasn't a myth.
Don't know what we're going to find out there, but yeah.
So a ton of great stuff in the show overall. I mean, Neo 2, that was a crowd pleaser. That was one that was great to see get out there. We got an update on Kingdom Hearts 3. We got a lot of other great stuff. We had a new Remedy game. Remedy's on the way. Control. Really stylish trailer, really looking to just, I want to learn more about that one. I mean, it just looks like wizards and like, I don't know what I was looking at there, but it was really stylish. I would expect no less from Remedy. But I got to say, I think my favorite was Marvel Spider-Man.
Spider-Man looked
that was
incredible.
incredible. We have these legendary villains are back. We had Rhino, Electro, Vulture. I'm missing some. Who else were there? I mean, just one after another. That was Electro.
So many.
Spider-Man was not in a good space.
No, it was pretty rough. It was pretty rough. So we're going to see live gameplay of that in just a minute or two here. But I say we actually take this moment to announce a new game. What do you think?
Do it.
Okay, do it.
So nonchalant.
Hits keep coming.
Yeah.
So you guys know From Software.
Absolutely.
I'm aware of them.
They have created a lot of great games over the year. Well, they have been busy working on a PlayStation VR game.
Oh, VR.
And it is quite a departure from the kinds of games that we sort of know them for, but it's very, very interesting. And I'd like to see the first footage of that right now.
Aren't you excited? You're going to be a fairy. And live in the world where time stands still. Where nobody can see what you're up to ever again.
Okay, Decine, that's From Software's new title coming to PlayStation VR. Quite a departure, very artistic. Still don't know a ton about how it actually plays yet, but certainly a compelling debut, I would say. And speaking of compelling, let's get to that Spider-Man. It is time.
We have some folks from Insomniac
We sure
here.
do.
Brian, Adam, gentlemen,
hey,
welcome to the program. It's so great to have you here. I just have to say, first of all, thank you guys for giving us your time.
Of course. Yeah, of course. Happy to be here.
And also, congratulations, kind of closing out some of the show there with Marvel Spider-Man. How does it feel?
It's surreal. We've been working on it for a while, so it's nice to be here. And obviously, we showed you. People wanted villains, so we decided we'll give you a lot of villains. And now, and the next question is, can we play the open world? And Adam's gonna show off the New York City.
I mean, I don't know, Sid. What do you think?
Let's dive in.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here? Get in there.
We're going to boot up the demo here, and this is essentially one of the first playable demos that you guys are going to be showing off.
Yeah,
of Spider-Man.
Pretty much. So, I mean, if you think about,
Go ahead, Adam.
Yes, the game is. You know, a lot of people were like, last year's E3 was like, well, was that like just a linear level? No, like that was our Manhattan, that's our New York City, and it just happened to be on like a main story mission. But in between, like something like you saw in the raft, or we showed that back at last E3, you can just swing around New York City and have fun.
Let's go to that footage because we have it running here on the main monitor. We'll go to it in just a second. This is the beauty of the live environment.
Yeah,
this is great. I got my own little TV. This is perfect.
Yeah, I got it all.
Adam's doing a fantastic job so far. It's been really good.
So first of all, you're actually playing this right now.
Yeah. That's right.
And I do want to emphasize how beautiful this game is.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, Brian, tell me a little bit about what you guys want to show us this evening.
So I think, the big thing is, again, I think that part of the Spider-Man fantasy is to swing around New York City and, to have, not only just a great story, but have a bunch of different activities in that world. And we wanted to, give people who attend E3 an opportunity to experience that. So, obviously it's a big narrative-driven experience, but at the same time, part of that superhero fantasy, especially that Spider-Man experience, is living within New York City and seeing that. So, Adam is he's one of our combat pro players because he's a combat designer, and again, he's just showing off some really awesome stuff that as you get better with the game, obviously, we wanted to have a pick up a play feel, but at the same time have a level of mastery and to really show off the improvisation that we've really been talking about a lot since we announced the game.
I'm digging this, like sticking dudes to walls and to the floor and stuff. That looks really satisfying.
I mean, I think the thing that's been really fun in these last, I would say last 6 months since we got back from the holiday break was every week I feel like I'll take the game home or I'll be playing one night and then I'll come in and say, wow, guys, I didn't know you could do that. So I think there's a lot of that, there's that sandbox nature to it as well. So, I mean, obviously you can, we have, we're going to teach you mechanics, but we want you to experiment with, his acrobatics, his webs, his gadgets, his suit powers. So combining all that stuff really allows for a lot of different gameplay and a lot of, Spider-Man's a very expressive character, and we want players to be able to express that, whether it's in traversal or in combat.
It's gorgeous.
These animations, these animations are just blowing my mind.
Your studio has kind of been renowned for character animation and for, just fluid motion. I mean, did you guys take a lot of lessons from your previous games and really like hone in on those when you were developing?
I mean, I think animation's definitely been one of the hallmarks of our company. From Spyro to Ratchet to Sunset Overdrive.
Yep.
And I mean, I remember when the Sunset Overdrive reviews came out, one person actually wrote, it would be great to see Insomniac make a Spider-Man game. And I was like, see, we should make it.
See? And I think you waved your phone around to the whole studio.
Exactly. We took that kind of mentality and we just injected our personality, but also, what do people want, desire from a Spider-Man experience. So, it was really great as I remember probably around the end of the year, end of last year, someone wrote an article about the top things they want to see in Spider-Man. And they said they want to feel like an Insomniac game. So I think that's the thing we've been really layering on in this last year is to have that, it feels like an Insomniac game as much as it does a Spider-Man game.
And I love this traversal, I mean, just the fluidity of just moving over great distances very quickly. It looks like a lot of fun just moving around, and that's when you know you've got a great game.
Okay, so so how I kind of said like experimenting, but like sometimes, I mean, game development, we're in meetings a lot, and then sometimes you just need to like take a break. And what I used to find myself doing was just swinging around New York City. It was almost like therapeutic. It's just kind of like when I play other games, I just walking or running or or even taking a car. Just it feels so more natural now just to swing around like Spider-Man. So it's definitely one of those things that has that, again, just like combat, that pick and play feel, but we want players to have a level of mastery as they play and get
What
better.
was that? Hold on a second. That's very interesting what you're saying there.
So like I said, so Adam showed off, I think he showed off the tripwire, or it's basically a gadget that you can either attach to a piece of geometry and the enemies walk by, they'll get like grabbed and sucked back, but you can also attach it to an enemy, and if an enemy walks by, they kind of slam into each other.
That is amazing. This is so cool. What's this focus meter about?
Yeah, so the focus meters basically, there's kind of a risk reward. As you build focus, you can use it to heal.
Sid's having a religious
experience. It just looks incredible.
Okay, thank you. The team works really, really hard on it. Really, really hard.
Clearly.
And the idea is the focus is kind of a way to, it's a risk reward. Like I said, you can either heal yourself, or you can kind of, if you fill up the bar a certain way, you can actually pull off a finishing move. So, you know, as you play the game, you can kind of say, well, do I want to maybe heal myself real quick, or do I want to wait for that really extravagant move to kind of take the guy out instantly?
Got it.
Brian, a question for you is, obviously Spidey has, with his experience being under the mask for so many years now,
Yep,
in
8
your
years.
story, 8 years. Thank you. You got to be precise.
I got it. One of the first questions I get is like, is it an origin story? I'm like, no. That was like, after we decided that the webs were definitely attached to the buildings, we decided it's not going to be an origin story.
But you know, back to the combat, I mean, Spidey's experience, he has access to a lot of different techniques and technologies. How do you balance out his experience with the fact that you don't want to overwhelm a player with options, right? You want to make it approachable.
You know, I really, that comes down to our combat team, our traversal team,
like
and
this guy right
designers,
here.
like Adam, and really going, okay, you know, kind of handing that stuff out over the course of the game, you know, finding those right spots where you kind of, okay, we're going to teach you how to punch and how to kick and how to punch guys up in the air and use your webs. But then we layer on things like gadgets and then the suits and the suit powers. And it's kind of giving over time. If we just, you know, one thing with something like E3, you know, we want you to feel great, right? But there's a lot to learn really quickly. So just, you know, normal course development, we kind of find those spots in the game where it makes most sense to teach those mechanics. And then as the game goes on, we want you to master those because the game's only going to get harder.
Yeah, absolutely. Sid, what do you think?
I got to say, this game is
beautiful,
looking
right?
absolutely gorgeous. This is, I mean, this is just, I mean, it was looking spectacular to begin with, but this is on a totally different level. And I can just see that
so much.
I can see that polish, though. That's the thing, and that's what comes out in that final few months of development.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys watched the press conference, right?
Sure.
You saw all those games, those first-party games, and they all have a level of polish. And to be in a press conference with the likes of a Naughty Dog, a Sucker Punch, Kojima Productions, we are very honored to be, and we know there's a certain level of polish that people expect from a PlayStation game, especially a first-party game. So we want to be considered right up there.
Well,
and not to mention also from the Marvel, you know, Marvel fans expect to have that perfect experience.
Of course.
May I just ask real quickly, you know, as we're starting to wind down here, from a personal perspective, I mean, what's it like for you and for the team to be able to kind of look up at the big screen and see your game after all that time and all that work?
I'm known as a crier, so it takes a lot for me not to get choked up. Like right now, they're playing the theme song to the game in the background as we're sitting here, and I mean, this is an amazing industry, and to be part of it is one thing, but to work on something you truly love, it's something that when you were a little kid thinking, oh my God, could I ever work on a Spider-Man game, let alone be in video games, is just absolutely surreal. I use that word a lot when I describe working on this game, and to work with a group like Sony and work with Marvel, and that feeling is felt by so many Insomniacs. So we couldn't be prouder, and the support we've gotten across the board, not only from Sony, Marvel, but also the fans, has been spectacular.
Brian, it just looks incredible. I mean, there's no other word for it. And
you're flabbergasted.
I really am. It's stunning. I mean, just look at that. How can you not be blown away by that? But we do have a limited amount of time here. Brian, you're an industry veteran. You've been in the industry for a long time. Yeah. I know this is a lifelong dream for you working on this game. And I want to thank you and Insomniac for making it.
Thank you for having us.
And for coming by as well.
Spider-Man was so awesome that it broke my mic, and I have to use the stick mic now.
I thought you just wanted to look different from all of us.
Yeah, I just wanted to stand out a little bit. Yeah. But, you know, Sid, actually, I think a little earlier, we were able to maybe get some footage of some of the amazing experiential stuff that's going on with Spider-Man. Right?
I mean, there really is something incredible going on here at this PlayStation E3 showcase. I mean, it's on a scale and a scope that we have just never seen before. And so we have people here, they're playing the game. We have a lot of hands-on sessions for folks that are here for the showcase. And the game looks great, but I just love the way this whole, I know her.
Oh, there's familiar faces popping up on the stream.
But I mean, it's a great event here, and it's just, I wish we could get everybody in here to try this out and to just see what has been sort of constructed with Spider-Man and with actually another game we're about to talk about.
Yeah, we're about to talk about Ghost of Tsushima.
Why don't you? Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah,
we have some. We sneakily snuck on a few amazing people onto our program as a helicopter goes by to mark this amazing moment. Nate Fox and Jason Connell to my left and Nate Fox. Gentlemen, welcome. Thank you so much for coming over.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. It's really good for you to be here, and I'm so glad you're able to give us some of your time.
Yeah.
Can I just ask, kind of what we were just talking about with the team from Insomniac, what's it like for you as individuals and as developers to be able to kind of be a part of all of this?
It's amazing. I mean, you try so hard to make a video game that you can get lost in, and then to come to E3 where they actually build your game. It's kind of a dream come true that way.
Yeah. How about you?
Oh man, it's amazing. You know, people are excited. You know, you see all the other projects, and everybody's just stoked about all the different games that are up there. And you know, we put a lot of heart and soul into it. So it's just that moment where it shows it is just great. So
I think we should show it because we have some of the footage.
I think we do have a little bit of footage hanging around here, so let's check it out. If we can
absolutely. Just hanging around.
It's just doing its thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this game, first of all, just gorgeous. I mean, the art direction is really coming through in an incredible way, but also the technical sophistication as well. I mean, we're going to see here in a minute. Here we go. There we go. Get into some combat.
Yeah, we have some highlights from the showcase just showing off for the first time.
Look at this. Look at this look. I mean, this is gorgeous.
Look at this look.
I don't know what else to say about it. I'm flabbergasted.
And maybe, I don't know, Nate or Jason, who wants to take this, but it seems like in these moments of gameplay, there's small vignettes of like a classic samurai film in which you really focus in the player experience, the visuals, the music, all the cues seem to align in harmony. I mean, that must all be very intentional, I can only assume.
It is an orchestra. You know, like you got to take all these elements, and for even that opening attack, that EI attack, it's about building space before it, having the leads go by, the drum up of music beforehand. And that's what makes it, really powerful.
How do you coordinate all those systems?
Like, we run in strike teams. We got a lot of multidisciplinary, awesome people working on it. So
yeah, but I mean, you watch a lot of samurai movies, man. I mean,
that's the real answer, actually.
Yeah. I mean, there's that quiet before the storm. It's pretty key to the genre, so just trying to make it real in a video game is our goal.
And I know that authenticity is something that's tremendously important to your entire studio in this game. Do you want to share a little bit about some of the great steps that your team went through creating that?
Yeah, I feel like we're in a super unique position because, we're part of Sony, we have J Studio, we have somebody that would be a producer on our project from J Studio. We hired some cultural guides. Like I feel like we're in this unique position to help us create this thing. Oh, the Shoji screen, that one's a popular one.
This knocked me off.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's interrupt worthy right there.
Okay, so can we talk a little bit maybe about how you're approaching the sword play? I think that's a really interesting concept here. Like, you don't have to get too far into it. I know the game's still deep in development, but tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we're going for lethal precision, where there's not a lot of wasted energy. It's very trained experts, and so every strike, could end a life. So you want to make sure that each one counts. Yeah. I mean, right now we're allowing these characters to kind of circle each other and talk to each other because it's not just kind of a furball, right? It's studying kendo. We've brought in experts to kind of show us how to do it.
And it shows.
It looks like maybe your team spent 400 years making this one scene. I mean, that's the thing that I would like our audience to remember is that every leaf, every flicker of flame has to be hand-placed by someone at some point in time, unless you had a giant machine AI do it all by itself.
Maybe, I don't know. We have a great team. It's, creating those beautiful moments, the lethal combat, that was the goal. Like having the and having the, visceral combat, that was our goal.
Yeah, I mean, it's so great to have you guys here. We do have a few more things to get to, right, Sid?
We do. Thank you so much for joining us, guys.
Yeah,
thank you guys.
No, thank you for being a part of tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima looking mighty, mighty impressive. And
should we look at some of that stuff?
Yeah, so there's a whole experience here built out for folks who are here at the PlayStation E3 showcase. And we're going to get a little footage out here. Oh, here we go. There we go. Look at this. So this was was that period of time. I know some of these people. This is the period of time when earlier on when we had that intermission, we had to make a little bit of time for folks to walk from one part of the experience to the next. So you're seeing shots of that right now. Very just special, intimate, and beautiful experience
gorgeous.
for folks to walk through there. Again, I wish we could just open the doors for 10 million people to come in here and just kind of get this all up close and personal.
10 million people might be a little more than than this venue can handle.
That's right. The fire marshal may have an issue or two with that, but it really is something else, and hopefully these clips here give you a little bit of a taste of what was in store here tonight at the PlayStation E3 Showcase.
And Sid, we sneakily got a few more folks in here to join us for our program. Again, I know, and specifically to talk about those little interstitials that we were seeing during our showcase. And it's my great pleasure to introduce the Media Molecule.
Hi.
Matching outfits.
Matching. We're matchy-matchy.
You know, that's cool.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having us. Yeah, it's crazy.
It is our great pleasure. I want to point out, and correct me if I'm wrong, the little interstitials we were seeing were all created inside Dreams.
That's right. That's right. So we just we had no idea what they were going to be shown with the games. So you know, Resident Evil, and then we get to do a little trumpet.
Yeah. The little celeries, and then it's Death Stranding.
No greater wine pairing than the Resident Evil and the fart trumpet.
There we go.
Truly.
I mean, and we had the final word, right? The orange drummer.
Yeah.
We need to give these guys names. If any of your viewers want to name our fruit, that would be awesome.
That'd be great. But yeah, it was really fun because like the thing about Dreams is it's really fast to create these little sort of stories and games. And so when we got the opportunity to do something fun for the press conference, it just felt like such a good, you know, like to do something musical and sort of something that kind of showed off the playful nature.
We're teasing something with that, actually.
We are teasing something. We are. There's a tease in
there's method in the madness.
There is
a nice palate cleanser in between each of those, and it kind of kept everybody on their toes. But I actually want to zero in a little bit more on the create mode that you guys are working on, and this is something that is, well, quite frankly, it's absolutely astonishing.
Okay, so I mean,
innovative here.
I mean, we're showing this at E3. It's so exciting for us. We're demoing it on the show floor. We've got press hands-on. So I think Dreams, you can create anything. Literally, people ask me, like, can we make games? Can we make movies? And the answer is always yes. And in fact, tonight we're going to be doing a live music show made in Dreams. And awesome. Show.
Okay, I was about to say, are you going to play music live?
We're going to play it tonight, and hopefully we'll find a way to get it out onto the internet.
We're debuting our new band, The Molecules.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah, and they are literally
perfect.
They will be using the create tools that you're watching right now to perform a 15-minute live gig. I don't think anyone knows about this. Even the people out there in the garden haven't realized yet.
We're spoiling it for the folks at home.
Yeah, man, it's going to be big.
And I just want to point out is the footage that the folks at home are seeing right now. The seamless nature of the kind of create and the play, you know, functionality of Dreams it cannot be overstated.
Yeah, I mean, it's super easy. Even if you don't think that you're a game creator, even if you've never thought about game designing, if you've played games, you can do this. If you can play a platform game, if you can play our story, then you can do this. You can create your own, you can upload, and then you can share incredible levels in like 10 minutes. We're doing a demo this week at E3 where we create gameplay for a whole level in like 20 minutes, including music. You can compose your own music.
Awesome.
You can do the gameplay. You can animate. You can record voiceovers. The whole thing on a PlayStation.
And just to clarify, sorry to interrupt, is this two people both playing at once?
Yeah, it's co-op, so we're showing the co-op gameplay.
Multiple controllers, you can jam together, and it's quite funny because one of you can be testing and then another one can be getting the jump height right or whatever it is.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's cool.
I just love Dreams, and I literally haven't even touched it yet.
Yeah,
well,
come over.
You have to come in love.
Yeah, thank you so much.
But the idea really has been like what you're seeing is really this easy nature of just like picking and placing, because I think one of the things that sometimes people get scared of like the idea of the blank canvas, but actually what I love about Dreams is it's just this idea of just choice. Like every day people make choices. You put your clothes on, you might choose where you put a poster in your bedroom, and Dreams is very like that. All you're really doing is like here they're seeing like this sort of Instagram effect. You can take a scene and be able to very quickly change it so that it looks really different, and you're adding your own mark.
And then the pièce de résistance is that all of this stuff which gets made gets uploaded, and if you just want to sit back on your sofa and enjoy an unending stream of madness of the PlayStation 4 players' creations, you can, and we sort of present it to you in a stream of who knows what it's going to be like. I mean, that's what's so exciting. You know, the beta is coming this year, so we will be starting to see what the creativity of PlayStation gamers really means for Dreams.
That's excellent. So beta coming this year for Dreams.
That's right.
Yes. And you know, I've said this before, I'll say it again about Dreams. In my maybe 20 years of being in the industry, I've never seen anything so
thank you.
just innovative and progressive and just potentially just game-changing. So
thank you.
Hats off to you. I mean, this must have been an absolute labor of love.
It
really is, yeah.
It's the molecule's gone mad.
It is, yeah. And big cheers to the team. We've gone mad. Big cheers to the team back home, because you know people have really put their hearts and souls into Dreams to really get it to the point where you are moving between these different disciplines. And right now we have a studio that jams together in a way they've never jammed together before. We have like musicians actually just jamming with animators to actually make animation. And I think that's one of the things we're really starting to see is these different workflows. And that just, you know, that's been one of the things we've really wanted to get that right. So can't wait to see like people create all different types of genres of games and really almost like just come up with completely new ways of playing. I think
we're showing some of that E3. Liam made a text adventure and we're like, what? You can do a text? I didn't even know you could do that.
Wow.
I mean, that's like
that's amazing.
I know,
just
I mean, we saw what the community did with Little Big Planet.
Right.
And now imagine if you just like by a Googleplex multiplied the functionality.
Exactly. Like
so
raise it to the millionth power.
Specifically that.
It's unbelievable, and I want to thank both of you for coming by, and congratulations.
Well, thank you very much for having us.
Showcase.
Thank you so much.
And I can't wait to see more of this.
Stay tuned for more on the gig later on.
All right.
Thank you guys.
We'll hear more.
And Sid, I think we had a couple of VR games.
We
and,
did.
You know, taking a look at those earlier this
We
this
did.
evening.
We had Trover Saves the Universe, which was announced during the showcase, and we had some great stuff, Tetris Effect, earlier in the week as part of Countdown to E3, and a lot of other great stuff too. So let's take a look at the latest from PlayStation VR.
Sorry I panicked. I've never seen anything like it before.
Welcome to the Vanguard. Try not to die.
To block out the sun, the least you could do is fetch me some coolant.
Now it's just a taste of what is coming to PlayStation VR, and I want to point out really quickly, Creed Rise to Power, boxing game using 2 moves on VR. One of the most intoxicating experiences I've had in VR. It almost felt like boxing is like the perfect fit for the VR medium, because you got the leaning, you can dodge.
Oh gosh,
I'm going
all over the place. I was in danger for a second. I have to give a quick shout out to Bathtub Guy. I mean, let's just put one out there for Bathtub Guy.
That's awesome.
I hope that 711 gets one really quickly.
711.
Oh, squanch.
And also remember, earlier in the week, Ben Studio gave us another look at Days Gone and their release date.
They did.
February
22nd. Outstanding. Very good stuff. So let's talk a little bit about the venue we've got here. It takes an army practically to create the kind of experience that we had here tonight for members of the press and community. So I want to talk a little bit about that. And actually, rather than talk about it, let's just show it. We have a great video that shows how it was all put together. Just a really cool look.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to E3 on Twitch 2018. That was the Sony press conference, and just even a little bit more. We saw a few extra things there at the very end. Wow. I tweeted 90 minutes before the conference, ladies and gentlemen, in 90 minutes, the church is open, mass is in session.
How do you even say that word?
What?
PSologist?
What? PSology.
It's PSology.
PSology. So yes, I am a PSologist.
Like psychologist.
What?
The PS is pronounced like an S.
Not like sologist, no.
I thought it was sologist, yeah.
No. And then they were in a church, and it was like, oh, and I think, I mean, the general sense and feeling of the room was like, what is Sony doing, right? We were all kind of like, this is not fantastical, this is a little, but then they're like, this is why, and then they go right into The Last of Us 2, in which they had recreated the setting from the game. Last of Us 2, you guys?
Well, they started off by saying, like, we're gonna look at some old things. Like, it totally threw me off track. Like, the announcer, I don't remember his name. What's his name?
He did. Yeah,
But
Sean, yeah.
But yeah, and then they went into The Last of Us. Of course, we knew we were gonna see that, and wow. It is still the game I'm going to look forward to most, like, of any game that I've seen in the last 2 years.
A phenomenal way to show the game off. Certainly brutal. Showcases that world. Yeah, and
Look at this
looked away like 10 times.
Guts him and trails.
The juxtaposition is what ruined it for me, because you fall in love with her, and then you see her have to experience this violence.
It's also like the graphics and the movement and everything is so real at this point. I'm buying it so hard that usually I have my immersion is like, I'm immersed, but I understand where I am in fantasy, whereas this, I'm like so immersed that when someone's guts come pouring out and she's like crying while she's stabbing somebody, I'm just a little too deep.
But that's what the first game did so well, and I think that's why everyone is going to be like, this is the sequel that everyone wants, right?
All of us, I don't think any other press conference, any other game, we have spent so much time doing
we all shut up.
Like our mouths hanging open, and not just Last of Us either. So many of these games, the tech behind them, the art behind them. Amazing.
Yes, I mean, certainly talking about mouths agape, when they talked about the Call of Duty Black Ops maps being converted back to Call of Duty 4 and 3, Zeke literally jumped from his chair, did a few laps, and was very excited about that. So that was another.
I missed most of the announcement due
to
my excitement.
I'm just kidding. A few people, I think, were sad about that. But they did say that Black Ops 3 was going to be given away tonight on PlayStation Plus, so I guess that's a plus for PlayStation fans. I'm going to go through the list if it's okay, because certainly I wish I had the cards, but you know, the quality of PlayStation's press conference I thought was top notch, but in terms of quantity, right? Like, I mean, Microsoft sort of came to the table with a lot of stuff. Some of it was kind of rapid fire shown. But I'm going to go through some of these because I think we have the time too. Sure. Tetris Effect, which released a beautiful trailer earlier this week. It was only touched on, as well as Days Gone, because that was kind of previewed beforehand. We know that November 22nd is the release date for that. Twin Mirror, I had seen nothing about, so that was brand new to me. And either I missed it in the E3 flurry, or did anyone else see it before?
30 seconds of a look at it, and I'm pretty intrigued.
I don't know that I could tell you anything other than the name Twin Mirror at this point. So.